UKLC is presented by Curry's PC World.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to day 3 of the UKLC. I know it's crazy. We're into Super Week. Thank you very much, by the way, to our sponsors joining for sponsoring us. I've had a couple of days off. I screwed this. Curry's Peaceful Gaming. Thanks, mate. I completely screwed that. Hello, I'm HitBrain. I'm back, and apparently I can't do my job. I'm joined by Jamada, someone who is capable of doing their job. Jamada, how were the last 2 days?
Yeah, it's been pretty exciting. You know, I got some time away from you for a change. I got to kind of cut loose a little. Nah, it was good. We had quite a few stomps, honestly, over the weekend. Kind of different change of pace from what we had together, where games are really slow, but honestly, games this weekend have been pretty fast, all things considered. This is actually from NLC, but you know what? That's fine.
Yeah, hold on. I was looking at this. I was like, I recognize some of these guys.
Well, to be fair,
this game quite well, actually.
Nordavin's win over BTXL was quite exciting. Here we go. Now we actually have the UKLC highlights. And yeah, honestly, Bulldog, well, they gave it to Demise. Demise, I don't know. My hopes are both high and low for Demise. I don't think they're going to make it out of relegation, but most of their drafts in the last couple of days have been okay. The Blitzcrank pick was a bit of a question mark, but that's neither here nor there. The London game, honestly, London just 1 for 1, pound for pound, just played better than Barrage in this one. And even though it was then Voxnay getting most of the resources, even by the end of the game, Pillion was incredibly fed. And this game, oh Lord, Jake, you would have lost it in this game with me. We had about a 5 to 6 minute Baron dance in this one. Enclave
Lord.
and Envision, neither of them could actually pick up the big purple worm till almost 30 minutes into the game. And honestly, the highlight of the night yesterday, Eminem versus Resolve rematch. And realistically, Resolve, they backhanded Eminem yesterday. But Eminem, in Eminem fashion, they tried to make it compare for as long as they could, but eventually the gold lead was just way too large, and we didn't get in that highlight package. But there was such an insane wombo combo at the back end of the game. Artorias on that Gragas was honestly kind of just 1v5ing.
I remember actually saying at the end of last week's show, I'm really excited for the Eminem versus Resolve game, because I feel like if one team is going to challenge Resolve through their kind of slower playstyle, it would be Eminem with their more chaotic team fight centric playstyle. But you know, ultimately Resolve do just play this chokehold game and they starve you off the map, and that actually does mean they are still undefeated here as we're coming towards the end of week 4. Let's bring up the standings and see where everything is now at the end of this week. So Resolve starting out today 8-0, no losses yet. Then it is London and Eminem tied in that 2nd and 3rd place. Bulldog below them, Barrage below them. Barrage are tied with Enclave and then Vision. And then all the way down at the bottom, it's Demise. Some sad Reapers over there.
Yeah, sad Reapers. And I'm not going to make a Demise pun, but it's looking relatively imminent in a way. But look, still got a lot of games to play, so it's not as if they are completely doomed. But yeah, right at the top, Resolve, it's looking more and more like, I mean, I think if they secure a win today, in most cases, they should mathematically end up in playoffs. So
yeah,
with only 5 games left, it would be the most likely outcome. So win today would be big, securing playoffs. Obviously, they're 3 games ahead of just about everybody. And, you know, I think for the rest of the teams, sort of looking at securing the remainder of the playoff spots.
Well, let's have a look at what we've got today here at the UKLC. What games are we starting off with? So it'll be Bulldog versus Barrage to open out. Then it's Enclave versus Resolve. Demise versus Eminem. And we'll be rounding the day out with London versus Envision. Any games there jumping up to you right now, Jamada?
I'm actually looking at this opening game because I think that it could provide us with quite a bit of entertainment. I feel like our middle of the pack games today could potentially be a little one-sided. I see Resolve and Eminem sort of just slowly winning out versus Demise and Enclave. So I think our opening game today is probably going to give us the most excitement. And then also the back end, the final game, London versus Envision. I feel like Envision, the more they lose, the hungrier they get to win. And it might make them play a little more reckless, whereas London have kind of stuck to this relative style of just give them Voxnay everything. and we'll let him carry. Which bot lane into bot lane, I think that could provide us with quite a bit of a fun game.
Normally, this is the point where I like to bring the drama and look at the predictions, but there's not really much drama on the predictions.
No, not really.
Me and you pretty much the same, bar one game here. So you went for Barrage, I went for Bulldog. That's the only difference.
So you put your predictions in first this morning, and I didn't want to necessarily just keep it the same. So there's give us a little bit of conversation. I feel like the opening game of the day here, it could realistically go either way. I think Bulldog, coming off the back of now a win, but prior to that, obviously a pretty big slump. They still have to find their feet properly. So, Barrage could capitalize on that and take the win. I think both of these teams, generally speaking, are relatively equal at the moment. So I do see it. If Barrage take a lead, I can see them closing out the game. If Bulldog take a lead, I can see them taking the game. I think it's going to be relatively draft dependent.
I'm sorry, that was Bulldog level of analysis. If they get ahead, they'll just win. That's just how it goes, right?
Look, Bulldog, he's written the whole trilogy of win lane win game. All right, like it's okay. I'm not quite there yet. I've still got enough analysis in me.
But yeah, I'm actually very interested by this first game, and as it is our first game coming up, we have a little bit more time where we can actually take a deeper dive into this Bulldog versus Barrage matchup. So let's talk a little bit about this. Let's talk about what lanes we're looking for and what a Bulldog gonna have to do, because they're on the beginning of recovering from it was 3 straight losses, I believe, wasn't it? Or 4.
It was either 3 or 4. They are 4-4 now, I want to say.
Yeah, they definitely lost.
They won yesterday, so it would have been 4. Would have been 4 losses.
A 4-loss streak.
4-loss streak. Won yesterday versus Demise. They broke it.
Yeah, so that would have been a 2-week slump effectively for them.
Yeah, pretty much
until yesterday. Almost 2 weeks. So yeah, what do they need to do to find their footing?
I mean, I think as long as they can come out with a really stable draft, something where they're not pressured into making plays, right? I think one of the criticisms I had yesterday of not Bulldog, but actually the M&M draft was, yes, whilst it played into their style of hectic fighting, they really put themselves on an execution, like sort of a high execution floor, which they couldn't meet. And I think if Bulldog do that to themselves here into Barrage, then Barrage have typically been drafting pretty low, easy to execute compositions, and they can definitely, win out just on that alone. But it's not really been Bulldog style to draft these really hard compositions. They've been, given Chickling control mages. They haven't really been drafting hard to play junglers. And more or less, they will just sort of play to put resources into Vyusi. And it's a similar story for Barrage. So I think 1-to-1, these guys do match up relatively well.
Yeah, I mean, this is... I'm talking to my producer, but there you go. You can see our matchups here. There's a couple of lanes that are really jumping out to me. And these are the 2 solo lanes. Top lane, Hachi versus Aragon, and mid lane, Thomas Go versus Shiklin. I think Shiklin has... honestly, while also kind of being the coach for the team, doing their drafts and being one of the more vocal members, has done a really good job of also being a standout player. Going up against one of the, the player we had a lot of praises to say about last season, even though he was in a losing team and didn't find a single win. And then you look over to the top lane, Hachi, what a performance. What a start to the season. He got the Aatrox again this week as well. Yeah. And another phenomenal performance from him. We got Aragon, who is a bit of a veteran now in the UK scene, been around for a while. These solo lanes are the ones I'm looking at right now. Yeah, no, I can definitely see that. And I also want to drag our attention a little bit to the jungle, because King has been one of the bigger performers for Barrage. And Zion, coming in for Mola. He didn't have the best first day, but yesterday he definitely had a bit of a performance. And even when Barrage are losing and they look poor, King has always managed to perform pretty well. So I think, honestly, full top side, there's going to be really interesting to keep our eyes on. And, Bulldog and Barrage, whilst they are kind of typically a bot-centric team, I think they have a lot to offer on the top side as well. Yeah. No, I agree with you on that one. I like the big players, the reason I'm so sold on Hachi is because of his performance when he first came, and he's honestly just performed really, really well. This is going to be a very, very, very exciting game. Now, guys, we're going to throw to a quick break, and when we're back, we'll be back with that first matchup of the day. So we'll see you in a jiffy.
thinking of that blood that you are. I never wandered far. I never set my standards too low. And I never wandered far. And I don't mind. Take the lead and drive me far away. You drive me far away. You drive me. When the night comes creeping in to say goodnight, and the daybreak starts within in the blink of an eye, and the dream is like a highway that never ends. I'm wanting it all to last. I'm waiting for it to pass. I had something nice to say. I'm thinking of that blood that you are. I never wandered far. I never set my standards too low. And I never wandered far. And I don't mind. Take the lead and drive me far away. You drive me far away. You drive me. You drive me far away. You drive me.
Your eyes, they look me over, so close. We're falling further, only time will tell. Who's gonna wear it? Who's gonna wear it? Who's gonna change up what we've done wrong? Now it's over. Big dreams, big hearts will roll together. So wide awake now. It seems our hearts were always beating a different rhythm all along. You don't really wanna. I feel like running from the games. You
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the UKLC Week 4, Day 3, baby. Having one of our 2 super weeks we've got going on. Next week we'll also be starting on Saturday, so make sure you're there. We'll have Viperoon back, so you'll be rid of me for another 2 days next week as well. Lovely. Anyway, actually this week coming, we're on Monday now.
This week, we're on Monday already, yeah.
I had an extra day off this week, and I've forgotten how to do anything at all. I'm feeling for time because we will be getting into picks and bans for our game, but we are currently waiting on a Bulldog member to restart their router due to some lag issues. Welcome to playing online, everyone. Let's bring up the rosters once again, because if you have only just tuned in and missed the pre-show, what the hell were you doing? Where'd you go? Come, just it's only 10 minutes. Let's see us talk a bit. Anyway, let's talk a little bit about these rosters once again. I said it before the pre-show, well, in the pre-show, for me, the lanes that I was really sold on and was keeping my eye on for this game were the solo lanes, the top and the mid.
Yeah, top lane, mid lane, I think both good places to keep our eyes on. Honestly, very interesting matchups across the board because Barrage and Bulldog, when they've looked successful, they kind of have a similar style of play and draft. Barrage will typically try and put a little more resources into KZ where possible, and King likes to play for himself. Now, on the Bulldog side, out of Zion, we haven't really seen enough gameplay from him to sort of get a real gauge for how Bulldog want to play with this player. We'll probably have to look more towards next week moving forward to see how Bulldog actually adapt with this jungler. But typically speaking, you know, we've hyped up VUC as sort of the Bulldog carry, right? If VUC is doing well, if he's picking up all the resources, Bulldog will roll into fights, they'll keep him alive, and he will carry these fights. And then on the back of that, you also have Hachi, who is very self-sufficient. He very rarely has lost lane so far this split, and he will come into team fights on some of these big bruisers, some tanks, and he will just frontline for the Bulldog AD carry.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing about Hachi. I think that's the big thing we've seen about a lot of the kind of standout top laners is the ones who are self-sufficient, the ones who don't require a lot of help. Because I mean, pulling away from this game, I think back to the was it Envision versus Demise? Who's the only Angel one again? I've forgotten. Enclave versus Demise, where you know they put a lot of resources into top lane, and ultimately it didn't matter. Like, welcome to the meta at the moment. It's jungle and mid, jungle and bot, and everyone else doesn't matter. Hopefully we'll be getting into picks and bans a little bit sooner. We are just like I said, filling for time at the moment.
Yeah.
So you can talk to me a little bit about, maybe because I wasn't here for the last 2 days, talk to me a little bit about the performances from these teams over the last 2 days.
Yeah, I mean, sure. I think, honestly, like I said, we've had a lot of games which actually ended up being closer to stomps as, oh, here you go. I guess we're just into picks and bans now. But we had a much faster sort of tone and pace of game over the last couple of days, which obviously we were almost getting to a point where we was like, hey, these games are getting a bit ridiculously slow. Give us some action. And honestly, over this weekend, a lot of the games have given us action, but they've been a bit one-sided. I think the only game that stands out, perhaps just recency bias, really was last night's ending game out of Resolve and Eminem. I guess if you want to really talk about action, Enclave and Envision, the 10-minute almost Baron dance was quite entertaining. But yeah, I don't think you would have liked to have been there for.
Now, just to kind of fill you guys in what's going on, we have had a PC die on our end. So we had a Rooster die a minute ago on the players' end. Now our end, there is Champ Select is going on, and at the moment we're not going to be able to show it to you. So this is going to have to be us telling you what's going on. So far on the side of Bulldog, they have banned Fresh, they have banned Camille, they've banned Udyr in their first rotation. Barrage have banned Samira, Olaf, and Seraphine. And the lock-in already for Zion is going to be the first pick Talia. Rotation for them, and over to Barrage, sorry. They're going for the Kaiser and the Alistair lock-in.
Yeah, that was pretty fast from Barrage. But yeah, again, Bulldog on this blue side, I think, have been on blue side all weekend so far. And all 3 games now have first picked what is likely going to be Zion's champion pick in this Talia. So a lot of priority for him to feel comfortable on his champion pool. And honestly, for KZ, very much what we expect out of him, just snapping up the Kaiser. And KDO picking up the Alistar for himself. He's been doing pretty well on a lot of these playmaking sports.
And Bulldog now, they've locked in their bot lane, so it's going to be the Misfortune and the Rel combined with that Tillir they got in the first rotation. Over to Barrage, what do they want to put with that Ali Kaiser? Looking,
I mean, Pantheon.
at the moment, for probably a jungler, something that can contest Zayen on the Talia.
Yeah, I mean, Pantheon's up by. I wouldn't be surprised to see King lock in the Graves. He's just lent on it so much. Wow. Okay, so that's a curious lock-in. Obviously, working a bit retro, but he's locked in the Kha'Zix, which is something we don't see too often these days. I feel like a little bit preemptive, maybe, on thinking about what Hachi and Shiklin are going to be locking in. So, you know, Kha'Zix
would like to see a Pantheon ban. First ban's the Anivia from Shiklin, but I would love to see a Pantheon ban. Pantheon Talia, just a disgusting combo. You don't want to be dealing with that. Just ban it away. Pantheon on itself is an amazing pick anyway. Yeah. So Renekton getting banned away from Bulldog. I'd actually be very disappointed if this isn't a Pantheon ban, unless Barrage are looking to first pick it for themselves and run it in the top or the mid.
Yeah, which, you know, Barrage very well could run the Pantheon here if they wanted to. In a way, kind of surprised to see the Renekton ban, but it says to me that maybe Hachi's just looking for the Aatrox and he doesn't want to play the other half of that matchup. Just going to see Orianna banned away from Shiklin, so I guess you're going to have to be disappointed here, Brain. Unless Barrage are looking in the Pantheon.
Because if they do lock in a Pantheon for either top or for mid, then I'll be okay. But I really would worry if you see a Pantheon Slayer get locked in on the side of Bulldog. They have a really nice early The Malphite's going to be the final ban from Bulldog. So we're into pick phase number 2, and Barrage will be picking up their first champion here. And it's going to be the Victor. So Pantheon open. We'll see if Bulldog want to lock that in, or if they're just going to shy away from it entirely.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised we're seeing Thomas Go's pick here. I feel like you would have probably been happier locking a top laner and just holding on to mid lane, because when you have a Kha'Zix in the game, mid lane priority can be really important. And if you're going to give over counter pick to mid, it often does mean you're going to end up giving over mid lane priority. Hachi's been gifted his Aatrox once again, so we'll have to see what Aragon has in store to actually face up to this Aatrox. One thing I do want to note is that teams have been consistently banning Gangplank away from Aragon, which has struck me as very strange, as Aragon was my player last split. And whilst it was in his champion pool, we never really played it, and it wasn't something he was crazy comfortable on. So unless he's been working on it recently, it wouldn't actually be a terrible time to bust it out, especially into the likes of an Aatrox. Seems as it's up and teams have had such a high focus on it. Shiklin has locked in the Syndra for himself as the final pick, and
it's actually all right with Talia.
Yeah.
Get that scatter the week off into the seismic shove. But something a little bit spicy here for Aragon is he's locked the Kennen in as the final rotation. Before we break that down, I'll give you a quick rundown of where we are. On the side of Bulldog blue side, they have locked in Aatrox, they have locked in Talia, they have locked in Syndra, they have locked in Misfortune and Rel. And on the side of Barrage Academy, it is going to be the Kennen in the top lane. Jungle is the Kha'Zix, mid lane Victor, and then the bot lane is Kaiser Alistair. As I like Alistair.
Well, Kalista is a champion, so you're pretty close. I suppose if you had an accent on you, then it was down a bit.
Kaiser Alistair is the lock in there. So, what are you making of these comps for our viewers at home can't see?
Yeah, true. I mean, honestly, I think both these teams got realistically what they were obviously looking for. Just sort of team fight compositions, right? I think Barrage sort of leaned closer into this dive composition. Again, I feel like the Victor pick, or more like Thomas Go's pick being there and it being Victor, is a little bit strange on that R4 pick. Especially now that they've kind of come closer to a diving composition. I feel like he would have benefited more from either just blinding the Kennen outright, or just even blinding something like Galio into Shiklin's champion pool is probably fine. And then it fits way more on theme with, moving forward, diving, engaging. So Thomas Go could kind of be left on his lonesome, albeit Bulldog's composition isn't really focused on diving forward per se. It's more kind of front to back and kiting out the engage of Barrage. So Victor's still going to be fine. It's just a little bit off theme with what Barrage sort of have as a whole.
Well, we're loading through into the game. Sorry we couldn't show you picks and bans. There were a few tech issues. Hopefully we'll have that back for the game too. I'm just taking a quick rundown of where we are runes-wise. Everything's pretty standard. There's nothing spicy to talk about there. Ooh. Honestly, I think it's going to be kind of proof is in the pudding this game. Both of these teams, like you said, have a really good shot of taking a win. Your analysis was the team that gets ahead will win on that, which honestly, kind of just shows you that these teams are actually pretty close as far as it goes in the standings.
I do feel like
one game that separates them from each other. Barrage have an extra loss and Bulldog have an extra win, so just one game can separate these. But if Bulldog get a win here, it goes from 1 game to 2 game, and Barrage go from 3-5 to 3-6, and Bulldog go to 5-4. So it gets harder and harder to actually catch these front runners. Bulldog's still currently tied at the top with... No, they're not. Sorry, they're actually locked in 4 for the
They're
moment.
locked in 4 with 4.
One of the only teams that actually have a comfortable, secure position other than Resolve right now, and Demise, if I'm going to be fair.
I don't know if Demise are comfortable with it.
Do them dirty like that. Although, I mean, they're locked in. They're locked in last at the moment. That was
they're locked in.
Them there.
Yeah, they are. They're definitely locked in. But I do think both these teams, stylistically, they're relatively similar. And the team compositions, whilst sort of playing at slightly different angles, they're going to be approaching the same goal of trying to win out in these bigger team fights.
Defeat the Nexus.
Defeat
that
the
is
Nexus.
The goal of these team comps.
Win lane, win game. Bulldog, you're here spiritually.
I think he's in Telia, so he won't be watching this, unfortunately.
Oh, right. That is correct. Yeah.
Someone clip that and send it to him. Honestly, he loves it. He genuinely is a massive fan of it. So if I can get all our viewers to tweet at Bulldog, win lane, win game, I'll be a very happy boy.
Oh no. Hey, Summoner's Rift, we're here. League of Legends. Oh my god, that is adorable. I've never seen.
Have you never seen that
I've
animation?
never seen that animation.
It's so good. Don't move away. Oh, he
Bullying
stopped.
the observer. Oh man. Okay. Well, expectations for this game. King on this Kha'Zix. So I don't think we've seen a Kha'Zix actually be whipped out in the UKLC. But still, much like Kha'Zix from last season, he doesn't necessarily want to be too active in the early game. You know, barring some really free setup ganks. He really does want to just farm up to that level 6. He wants to try and hit those core items really fast. In this case, obviously a mythic. Quite a few mythic choices for AD Assassins, really. Could see the Eclipse. We could see the Prowler's Claw.
Drinker.
Yeah, I mean, actually, so one thing to note, he does have Conqueror. So Gore Drinker could be a thing in this game. There is a lot of annoying CC for him to kind of deal with, right? Moving forward, you've got things like Rel, you've got Scatter the Weak, you've got all of the tools out of Talia's kit. So like, because I remember I brought this up last week on the NLC, and you guys were kind of memeing me a little bit. But Gore Drinker is legitimately good on Kha'Zix. I just have to point this out.
I think it's just Gore Drinker's too good at the moment. I think that's the problem.
Yeah, Gore Drinker is pretty broken. So there is that. But, yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on what King actually wants to optimize into. Barrage didn't hit level 2 first, so they're being kind of zoned off their wave, but it's going to come into them anyway, so they're not too stressed. But yeah, I'm more or less looking at Zion here to see where he actually looks to attack one of these early lanes, because he does have setup in most of his lanes here. You know, he's got the Rel, he's got the Scatter the Weak from the Syndra, also has the Aatrox lane to work off of, so a lot of CC. But for now, in the immediate future, in the bottom side, he's just going to have full prio, so most likely both these junglers are just going to trade out Skull Crabs.
Video actually flashes, go for the pole. Oh, the UC
Ooh.
perfect time flashed. Able to avoid getting knocked into the tower. Flash for flash. KDO can always hex flash forward if he needs to.
Yeah, so Barrage Academy bottom lane, always going to be taking that trade. Like you say, KDO's going to have the hex flash available to him. Vyusi's obviously got to wait that 5-minute cooldown. So going to be very vulnerable to a gank, particularly if King ends up down there. It's going to be on poke to try and keep his AD carry alive if Vyusi actually steps out of line. And despite the gank, Bulldog are still going to hold bottom lane priority, so Zion's going to be able to pick up the Skull Crab for himself. And on the top side, Aragon's been keeping Kachi shoved under, so it's just going to buy some room for King to slip into the river, secure his own Skull Crab. Have to see, though. Zion's actually waiting for that Gromp to respawn, as King is on the top side, so looking to get a little bit of counter jungling going. We'll see if King actually opts to make the same choice, as he should have actually the timer. And obviously we have the spectator mode, so we can see the jungle camp timers in POV. I'm not quite sure if King can see it, but he can definitely see the Gromp on his screen, so he will take it away now.
So ultimately, King not going to lose anything there. He's a little bit slower on the tempo of this. Talia are much better at taking Scuttle Crabs because you can just seismic shove it, stripping the shield. But yeah, nice stuff. The Wolf Camp is actually going to spawn, and Zion's actually going to hang about, but so is King. So ultimately, these junglers, they're just trading camps, but nobody's going to lose out on this. They're both going to be fine as far as the farm department goes.
Yeah, and no one's really too fussed about this. You could technically argue it's going to work out a little better for King because he's now getting sort of an uninterrupted farming pattern all the way to that level 6. One thing to note, he actually left the Little Wolf, which is kind of a big-ish deal. It's going to delay the time of the respawn for that camp until Zion actually gets over there. Whereas Zion actually finished up the whole camp, so if King does decide to sort of, you know, take his 2 topside camps now, reset, walk back down, his jungle camps will be spawning in sort of, you know, the next 90 seconds or so. So he's going to be happy with that, whereas Zion's camp is going to be delayed for a while.
Smart stuff there. Interested to see what we get evolved first from King. It's always really hard, but it is Mecha Kha'Zix is actually one of the worst ones.
You think so?
Yeah, I think that one's pretty hard to tell when they evolve.
No.
All right, well, know the ult because he's white at the moment, so he'll change color.
Oh, I don't know
King,
if he
mate,
can.
you are.
Okay, he's good. No, he's good. He's oh
Is
no, no. Okay.
He's fine.
You know, I love that he threw up the thumbs up because he probably knew the observer was looking at him whilst this was happening. But yeah, all right. So he's not going to be able to finish up the card camp. That's actually really sad.
He's doing it. It's the
Mid lane
whip,
gank.
but Thomas Go looking for the gravity field, trying to dodge away from the seismic shove. Just about gets away with a flash. And he's going to be able to survive. Bulldog, though, making the proactive play here in the mid lane. And that's going to be Thomas Go forced out for the moment. And Shicklin can just take a cheetah recall if he wants.
Yeah, can take a recall, but I actually expect, look at that ward. I expect Shicklin could actually TP onto that if they want to make the play. They could just opt in for a full rotation, though.
Oh, they're going for the fight. They've actually got the stun up onto KDO. The Make It Rain's going to slow him down. Poke's taking a lot of damage from the minions in the Ignite, but now Zion's coming in. Teleports are being used on all fronts, and this is going to be a scrappy bot lane. Double teleports being used by Barrage. Aragon looks for the ultimate, looks for Zion, but Zion still finds himself first blood, standing in the middle of everyone. Hatchie, with the ultimate burning, is going to flash away from the Chaos Storm, and it's a 1-for-1 at the end of the day.
I feel like for how many resources were just committed here, 1-for-1 is actually on the liar side of how bloody this fight could have been, but the end result is actually Barrage walk out with priority on this bottom side. So it's going to be them picking up this first Infernal Dragon, most likely, unless Shicklin finds himself a Miracle still over the wall, which we're only talking a 7-minute Syndra, but I've seen wackier things happen.
Here it comes. No, not even close.
Not even,
Not
yeah,
even
not even
close.
remotely close. Well, there you go. First Dragon going over to Barrage. Let's see what the response is. They're already sending KZ top, so looks like they want to keep this objective focus for themselves. And let's just see how this all kicks off. It's Poke basically just getting into KDO's face. They know they have Shicklin and Zion on their way down. And I called out this teleport ward, but it was actually very slow from the side of Bulldog to actually bring Hachi down here. Or Shicklin, who also had teleport. And Aragon gets down here, only really focusing on just taking down Zion because he's overextending in that alcove. Vyusi honestly kind of lucky as well to not die, considering he didn't have flash during that play, and Aragon actually teleported on him. Just decided to walk straight past him, and all in all, it ends up being a 1-for-1 with all those resources burned. Barrage are the ones that make it up here first. They are going to try and hold a freeze, but I think could actually end up seeing Bulldog have the priority around this Herald for the immediate future.
Zion is found KDO.
Oh,
KDO needs to be careful as he gets slightly shoved back. Poke slams in, and actually Zion's been delivered to KZ. The bullet time is hitting nobody! But Yusi completely whiffed it. And that is just going to be Poke losing his life as well. The gravity field to slow Vyusi down, and King with the adaptive camouflage, not going to be able to find Vyusi. That was the most tragic bullet time I've seen.
Yeah, sometimes you miss, Jake. Sometimes you miss. Yeah, honestly, KDO getting caught out, but turning it around. Very nice heads-up play from him to just sort of recognize, okay, I'm just going to go in, take Zion with me, bring him close to my AD carry, and that bullet time just off in the angle. I mean, he's zoning KZ away, but I think would have definitely bore more fruit if he just aimed it towards King and KDO. Getting a mid lane fight.
Shicklin? Gonna be okay. That Chaos Storm's got a lot of damage. A good scatter of the week. Could actually be Thomas Go going down. Still doesn't have that flash. And Zion was in the area, but they're not going to do that.
Yeah. Not quite been able to utilize Thomas Go not having flash with a repeat gank. So you imagine Thomas Go, I believe his flash has got about sort of a minute and a half left on it. So the window is getting smaller and smaller for Bulldog to try and take advantage of that. But now the Zion's actually on the bottom side, so could actually see Barrage try and take up some priority around top side and mid and try and turn this into a Herald with that information. Let's see though, because Bulldog have this really big wave stacking up.
It is interesting after those 2 kills that Barrage didn't turn that into a Rift Herald.
Yeah, and it was the jungler that
Now
went
think
down.
about it. In my head, I assume they just took it. King actually looking to contest this, and we'll be able to pick himself up the crowd. Poke is now out of position, and actually it's Vyusi who's going to get challenged for it. KDO gets a stun off. They do turn it back around. Vyusi does a lot of damage into KDO. King jumps forward, gets pulled in by the Magnet Storm. Vyusi throws out the bullet time. This time it's going to hit somebody as KZ gets a pretty big health bar chunk there. Can Zion find himself that seismic shove? No, he cannot. Barrage find their members chunked out. And this could just be that Rift Herald picked up for the side of Bulldog. Thomas Go actually may just get a lot of damage into Shicklin. Chaos Storm's not quite available yet, so Shicklin able to survive the onslaught of Thomas Go. And now Thomas will be able to dissuade this Rift Herald from happening.
Yeah, With no mid laner, Bulldog have to definitely call this one off. Just down the numbers. Even though Bulldog are, you know, down numbers here, they aren't actually going to end up giving the Rift Herald over yet. Barrage actually just sort of holding off on making that final call, but they are finally calling Thomas go up. He is rotating. Zion's still in the area, and there's plenty of vision for Bulldog to see what's actually going on here.
This is honestly the longest.
Yeah, I've got to say, I agree.
Like Rift Herald swap I've ever seen. Finally, Barrage take it when I really feel like they should have taken this a long time ago, considering they got 2 kills topside.
Yeah, I mean,
about a couple of minutes back, but here we are. They finally get it.
Yeah, sometimes, you know, after fights and setups like that, there's just small incremental things which just equate to teams not feeling comfortable enough to actually pick up an objective like that. But all things considered, it seems like Bulldog actually rotated their bottom side back down to the bottom lane, so Kings actually opted into hanging around here, didn't reset after picking up the Herald, so we could just see a full tower going down at little to no cost, actually, to Barrage, other than this Cloud Dragon, which, I mean, a full tower worth of plates. I think I'm going to take that trade. Oh, yeah, that is a tragic ward. That's really sad. But,
Tragic Rift Herald as well. Tower will fall. That's first blood tower. Shiklin, every time we look mid lane, is getting chunked out by Thomas Go. That Chaos Storm, millimeters from frying him.
Yeah. Shiklin opted into this matchup too, so I've been having a good time of it. As KDO headbutts at me. That looked...
Well, Thomas Go just got a free pass.
Yeah. that was something. But yeah, I mean, honestly, if you're Barrage, you take that and all of the gold went onto the key members. King, KZ. Both of those 2 members, they have their mythics finished up because of that top side tower takedown. And we do see the Gore Drinker come out. So, yeah, there you go. Bet you guys feel stupid for mocking me last time.
I like the Gourd Drinker build. I didn't laugh at you. It was the others.
Yeah.
Because I was in game when it got picked.
Okay.
Me and Orcs actually had a discussion about it, and we were both quite sad we didn't see it.
Okay. All right.
So it's the connoisseur of win lane, win game who didn't like it, because Gourd Drinker apparently isn't win lane enough for him. He wants Dusk Blades and Eclipses.
I mean, in all fairness, you know, the lethality Kha'Zix builds are still really good. They are quite nice. We do see both the mid and jungle in the bottom side here. Yeah.
Iron actually gonna get flashed away.
Oh my.
Wait, what?
I
was like, Thomas Go is dying here, and Shiklin just got one shot. What happened?
I think Kha'Zix did bug things. I feel like Shiklin might feel like he got bug splattered or something. But yeah, I mean, I was more focused on Thomas Go's health bar as well, getting caught out by the combination of both Shiklin and Zion, but didn't actually drop down. Oh, that's a nice engage.
Storms. Here's the Weaver's Wall into the bullet time. KZ able to jump back, and now it's Poke.
Oh.
He just loses his life. Went way too deep, and Bulldog starting to crumble here.
Yeah, I mean, just a bit of an overstep from Pokecry there, just going a little bit too far forward. The initial engage is nice, but certainly no need to overcommit like that. Poke's just going to lose his life for it. KZ, with that Gale Force finished up, was able to get out of the bullet time. Didn't really take much damage off of that combo.
Gale Forced, and then
Killer Instinct.
ulted back to safety.
Yeah.
Thank you, Killer Instinct. And yeah, no flash, no heal needed. Support gets the kill. That's the only sad thing there for KZ right now.
I mean, shouldn't really care too much. He's got almost 10 CS per minute as getting a replay of this bottom side. And I mean, let's just take a look really at Shiklin's health bar. I mean, he just eats the combo of Thomas Go, and then the Taste Their Fear, the Q out of Kha'Zix is just so much damage. And yeah, I mean, Gale Force out of the bullet time. He actually got healing from, I believe, Alistar passive as well. And Poke just moving a little too far forward. Now, Aragon should know better. Yeah. Should know better than to push this far forward with so many members of his team away from him. Zion fishing, but I'm not going to find anyone on that attempt. And I think eyes probably now going to be towards this next dragon. Next time these two teams actually butt heads. You'd probably favor Barrage at this
Oh,
stage. Oh,
Shicklin.
boy.
Oh, Shicklin getting chunked as the Chaos Storm will cook him, but Shicklin will survive. We'll be able to clear this wave momentarily. There is a Rel in the area, so Tomasko needs to be a little careful.
Yeah, but Tomasko has full information. She would have seen Poke actually walk through the tri-bush, so he knows where that champion is, and he's just going to be able to take this tower pretty much for free. Another chunk of gold going into his back pocket, and it's going to be real nice because he's probably going to reset relatively soon just to spend that gold. Actually, if we could get a bit... Yeah, thank you, Observer. If we could get a gold check just to see where everyone stands. Massive gold lead for Tomasko into Shicklin. I think we've seen how this matchup's been going from around 6 or 7 minutes in. And despite Tomasko losing his early flash take, he's honestly been piling it really well. All things considered.
1,500 gold
Yeah.
is the difference right now in the mid lane. The gold lead itself, a little bit less than that. Well, actually, it's a little bit more than that, but most of this gold lead is actually on Tomasko right now over Shicklin.
Yeah, and KZ actually too has a 1,000 gold lead. A lot of
Yes,
that coming
he
from that
does.
top side
Yeah.
tower.
And that's where the gold lead is. There's really not much more. So we do talk about to the items, see where that kind of has put us. KZ's had his Gale Force for a little while, just finished the boots up there. Gore Drinker, Protobelt, pretty much everyone's got their mythics. There's a Gale Force and a Gore Drinker on the side of Bulldog. That's all they got to work with. Zayen's getting jumped onto, getting bobbed up. A big scout of the week. They actually do pop the ultimate.
Aragon!
That's a massive ulti by Aragon, locking everybody down on the side of Bulldog. The laser beams are there. King's in the midst of everyone. And KZ slides in. A two-man knock-up. VUC the only one standing. Barrage just destroy Bulldog.
And Aragon just slices through everyone, much like the namesake of that ultimate. And I mean, Bulldog really just did not have any answer to that ultimate from Aragon right there. I mean, Zayen in the start of that fight got chunked out ridiculously hard, but once Aragon was in the midst of it all, the Chaos Storm on top of it, it was really just always going to be a wipe. And I mean, VUC, tail between legs, very fortunate to actually get out of that, in all honesty. As
you can see, I'm still a little stunned from that. That was a beautiful play. We had pause there. It was a light one. We are back into the game. I think that was Bulldog going, hold on. Why wasn't that Karzik so squishy? What happened there?
Yeah, the results of this. So Barrage going to be able to take down this mid-tier one. I don't think they're going to actually push in all the way here. We've got King on this dragon taking that one down by himself. And they're actually just going to see a pretty much a full retreat from Barrage. Just going to look for a quick reset. The Herald is out on the map. So we could see Bulldog try and make a quick beeline for that one, but honestly, Barrage will be able to make it in time to actually respond. And let's get a look at this team fight. So Zayen's actually on vision and King just notices his moment, takes it, pounces on top. Zayen has to dash away. And honestly, for a moment, I feel like Barrage were actually funding a little too hard into this choke caused by the Mountain Dragon. The bullet time's huge, but I mean, we just saw that slicing Maelstrom tear through the health bars of all of the Bulldog members. And Chaos Storm on top of it is too much AoE damage for Bulldog to actually handle. Very nice of Aragon to be able to find his way into the fight like that. All in all, 4-4-0 for Barrage. And I was going to say, honestly, just looking at the items before that fight, Bulldog just probably should have just wavered that dragon, just let it go.
Yeah.
You don't want to take the fight at such a big item disadvantage, but I could not could not say it, they could not heed it. And they just walk in, kind of give over 4 kills and a dragon.
Yeah, now it's going to be feeling really, really rough as the Barons are... Oh, sorry, Rift Herald's up. We're not that early in. And this will be the second one for the side of Barrage. Collector coming in for KZ, very close to getting that done. And with this Rift Herald, they might be able to crack open these mid lane tier 2 towers, or to be honest, whatever tower they take their fancy of now.
Yeah.
As we were talking about the gold lead, it is now substantially more in favor of Barrage.
Yeah, about double from when we last spoke about it. Have to see as yeah, you can see Tomasko's gold lead has grown even further. In particular, KZ now sits at around 1.5k as well. Starting to see King pull ahead as well of Zayen, so everyone pulling ahead. Big team fight like that will always push the gold lead in that kind of direction. Hachi though, or I say Hachi, Bulldog, I feel like need to find a way in, and it could potentially be through Hachi. He's the only one that's not necessarily fallen too far behind. amidst all of this
I
shenanigans.
mean, to be fair to Bulldog, Zion's got some pretty good CS numbers, keeping up with King, actually technically ahead. Mid, only a little bit down in the farm department. Bot is up at the moment, but it's about to go down. For the most part, Bulldog's still farming well in this game. All things considered, Zanyen will find KDO, but not actually going to do anything other than a little bit of poke with those threaded volleys.
Yeah. A lot of the gold basically still standing in those front 3 towers, the 3 hours for Bulldog. And of course, there were so many plates that went down for Barrage. So just, you know, inflated, added gold to that. And that's why we're seeing the lead. And of course, all of the kills, naturally.
All right, well, King, just to keep everyone updated, has evolved his spikes and his claws.
No, this is his spikes and his ultimate.
Not his claws, so his ultimate. I don't know why I said claws. I even took stock of the fact he was white earlier,
Yeah.
and now he's black Kha'Zix.
Yeah, because Mecha Kha'Zix, the R Evo turns in black regardless of what chroma he has. So.
Oh, really?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I don't think the
I guess
color
that's-
changes out of his eye. I could just be speaking nonsense right now, but it's a skin I use, so I feel like I know. Oh, Barrage coming down with a rotation. Hachi.
He said he was the way in, and now he might be the way in for Barrage. Protobelt's used by Aragon. There's the World Ender, but he is stunned up. King's going to do so much damage to him, and the Void Seeker comes in from KZ. He'll collect in on that kill as Aragon uses the Slicing Maelstrom, maybe a little bit prematurely there.
Just for good measure. Just to make sure Hachi knows where he stands. It's about a message, all right? That's all that is,
Yeah.
really. But all things considered, it's just a nice pick for Barrage. They don't really lose anything for it. Bulldog were actually attempting to react to the rotation, so it's not as if they just walked up to the top side, took the top side tower, or any jungle camps or anything like that. Which, honestly, in this situation, Barrage are actually up in trading tools. They had the Herald, so if they recognized Bulldog weren't there, well, they just dropped the Herald, and it probably would have just been a bottom side inhibitor falling in favor of Barrage. So they have to respond to that the best they can. They're just still too slow. Nothing they can really do about it. Barrage made this one a little slower. So,
Oh
no.
my lord. Cyan lost so much health there. Aragon Protobelt's to safety, but there's the laser beam.
Oh, Zion.
And the Chaos Storm will be coming in, and that is a lockdown member. Poke's getting cooked. Poke's getting taken out as it's a double kill for King. For Thomas Go even. King flashed there, which I didn't think was completely necessary, but ultimately it doesn't really matter for the side of Barrage. They've still got this Rift out in pocket. King's going to place it, and that's just going to pull members of Bulldog away. This Barrage, they're going to start up this Baron, and King's not even in the area.
I'm not sure
King's
why.
off the dragon.
That's really weird. I mean, I felt like King was actually gonna go and just shove in mid with the Herald to make sure it didn't just die randomly. Instead, King feels like dying randomly to Hachi and Vyusi and Shiklin. So,
All right, well, King just
there's
kind of
that.
giving a bit of a freebie over there.
yeah, it's, you know, it's just a little donation. Nothing wrong with that. Bulldog
Doing a
do
wee
need a little bit of
charity
something.
work here, King.
Yeah. Hey, we do love charity workers. So appreciate it, King. And, Bulldog, they're gonna pick up that dragon for themselves and trade for the Baron, but I feel like I know who I would take in that trade. And I don't know why Zion's still walking forward. It's just, especially through that side of the mountain choke, it doesn't really make a whole bunch of sense. And Poke also finds himself in trouble there as we're out of the replay.
Into action. Poke's getting chunked out by Thomas Go. The Magnet Storm into the bullet time. Thomas flashes away as the wall's been thrown down. He just Chaos Storms onto Zayen. Zayen getting cooked, and Thomas gets himself an easy kill. Very low health bar, but he's still looking to do a bit of work for the team. Hachi and Shiklin trying to zone the team off the side of Poke. KDO not going to flash over that wall.
Oh,
gonna hold it.
It's the air bug. I know what the observer's looking at.
What is it?
You see how he's kind of float? Look how he's kind of floating.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. One day they'll fix this bug, I'm sure. It's specifically with Alistar, and I don't know why. He's just a big boy.
Do you know what I want them to fix?
Oh.
It's a very niche one. And it really shouldn't be anything that even needs to put any effort into fixing because it's completely pointless, but it still annoys me. Corky, when he has his Gatling gun, if there's a pause, it just continuously plays the sound. It's the worst. It is just straight up the worst.
Obnoxious, yeah. Let's see how this all starts. I think Bulldog just looking for the blue buff of Barrage, and I'm not entirely sure why. Aragon actually could have taken the long route here and absolutely decimated the backside of Barrage if he felt like it, but wanted to approach the fight frontal. So it doesn't actually get as big of a punish off for Bulldog, honestly making a very audacious step forward into the Barrage jungle. Will it fix itself on a reset? That's the real question. Oh, is he still floating? No, he definitely looks floating. He's still running on air, right? Yeah, he's running. Oh, is he on the floor? No. Wait for him to get off of the. No. Wait for him to get off the base.
I can't see. His horns are too bloody big.
Right, we don't care about the game anymore.
He's on the ground.
He looks on the ground.
Wait, is he?
I think the tell is if he walks back into the river, which he's gonna do for us right now. Hey, thank you, KDO. Ah, yeah, no, he's still floating.
Oh yeah, that's a flying alley. Okay.
Yeah, that's a flying alley stuff. Small indie company. What can I say? One day. We'll get.
We talk about honestly the most pointless facts.
I mean, Barrage aren't really pressing a lead right now, so we get some time.
Yeah,
to
King
just
even agrees with us.
Yeah, see, like King's throwing up the. Listen, if you guys are bored, even the players agree with us, all right? So, cut us some slack. Doing what we can with what little entertainment we are being brought via fights. Bulldog, honestly, they do kind of feel out of this one. They haven't been able to really find many ways in since really that third dragon fight. Since they got routed by that Aragon ultimate, has felt all the more one-sided. As I feel like it's gonna
now
take
it looks
another
like
Baron.
Barrage are trying to push with their advantage, but they don't have Baron, so
Yeah.
that's kind of it. Aragon gets shuffled back. It's going to take a lot of damage, and that might just be enough to dissuade this siege. We might just have to wait for another Baron or this Dragon to really decide the next team fight. Dragon will be coming up in 1 minute 30, so we'll keep our eyes out for that one.
Yeah, see, I feel like realistically Barrage want to have to play all 3 lanes at the same time by such a big risk when you're dealing with double teleport and Talia. So it kind of just forces them into a situation where they realistically only want to play 2 lanes, but Bulldog have enough wave clear without Baron being there to actually deal with a 2-lane siege. So it just works us into the stalemate where we're going to have to wait for the big purple orb to spawn up again. That's just the nature of this League of Legends match.
That is. Yeah, as we do slow down, we can have a little bit of a look at the items. The Phantom Dancer now finished up for KZ, so 3 items on the Kai'Sa, Sterix and Gore Drinker onto King. Aragon has the Zhonya's and a Proto Belt, Lichbane, Seraphs, and the Luden's Echo onto Thomas Go. And a little odd support with just the 1 item.
Yeah. On the other side, Vyusi does have his Gale Force and Collector finished up, so he is at that 2 item mark, and it's got the components for what I believe still build into an Infinity Edge. So is on the way. I still a WoW's out. All of the Bulldog members have finished up a Mythic at least, which is obviously good news for them. Everyone actually at the 2 item mark bar naturally the support, so they are saying okay, but when you compare it to the inventories of what Barrage are working with, it's a little more difficult now. I feel like if there is one thing that Bulldog could potentially find a successful win in, is if they are able to pick up Thomas Go in a fight. As I know, it's bugging me as well, but I'm trying my best to ignore it. Is if they pick up Thomas Go, because he does actually have a very aggressive build. There is no stopwatch. There is no Zhonya's. The Archangel Staff doesn't give the shield anymore, so he is quite vulnerable if he does get leaped onto, but he's been playing the fight so well, as it's still not fixed itself.
Look, it's not going to fix itself. You're just going to have to live with it. It's just a flying cow. You'll be fine. That is sole point over to the side of Barrage. So while we're focusing on the cow, Barrage have got themselves almost up to this Mountain Drake. They're going to get vision control of the area around this Rift Herald, this Baron Nashor, and it will go very, very quickly to a Kha'Zix and a Kai'Sa. Poke's going to get poked a little bit by Thomas Go, and Seismic Shove is going to connect onto KDO, has to pop himself the ulti, but look for Aragon. Here comes the wall. Here comes the engage. That's going to be the dragon secured. Aragon comes in to the back line, locking everybody down inside the pit as KZ gets the hail off. Poke's going to lose his life, and he's still able to keep it going. Now KZ slides in forwards looking for Shiklin, and that is 3 members of Bulldog down. Barrage keep everyone and keep their buffs. Beautifully executed by Barrage.
Yeah, and that's also just the power of the gold lead that Barrage actually have in pocket right now. Honestly, if the gold lead was, you know, just a few thousand gold smaller, I could see multiple members of Barrage dropping there inside the pit. It was a beautiful Magnet Storm from Poke, followed up by Hachi's Darkin Blades, but health bars just weren't going down fast enough. There weren't any people actually dropping. Execution couldn't be found on anyone. And unfortunately, it means everybody from the Barrage side remains alive. They can dish out their damage. They keep the Baron buffs in pocket. They're going to be able to reset off this mid lane inhibitor, play on 2 side lanes, and I think with Bulldog not finding a successful fight in that Baron pit, they are just going to probably fall to the wayside as fast as or slow Barrage feel like ending out this game. But it was certainly a good attempt from Bulldog. Just not quite hitting the nail on the head, unfortunately.
It got close, but let's have a little look at that once again and see how this fight went down.
Yeah, and KDO obviously getting chunked out on the side, but just take a look at Poke. He gets that flash forward of the Magnet Storm, and everyone is locked together for so long because of the CC. And you can see the amount of damage coming out of Hachi. It's not like it isn't present, but it's just not enough. And the Bullet Storm isn't really hitting anybody because the key members of Barrage are in the back side of the pit, only really hitting the front liners, and Aragon just uses the stopwatch in the middle of it, so he's not really taking much damage at all. And unfortunately, can't find lethal on anybody. KZ has to be careful. KZ's due diligence, though, with the Void Seeker.
Just Kaiser thinks.
Yeah.
You can check a bush from a distance. Level 16, got the Lord Doms as well as King.
King
They're going to be going very low. Good stopwatch as the Hex Flash comes in. They get the headbutt pole off. Void Seeker onto the back, and Aragon actually locking everybody down. That's a big bullet time, though. Still keeping this fight going.
Wow.
As it's a 2-for-1 as the double kill's picked up by Aragon. Shiklin chunked out pretty hard. And Thomas, he's just pushing bot lane. He's not even interested in getting involved in that fight.
Yeah, absolutely.
He just wants to close this game out. Supers will be pouring in on the mid lane fairly soon. They've still got this Baron buff. They've still got waves to work with. And with 2 members down, Hachi not even back for another 30 seconds. This could just be game here for Barrage. Big scout of the week hits onto Aragon. KZ actually gets chunked out, has to Gale Force away to safety. And that is actually going to be all she wrote on this siege. They are going to back away.
Yeah, gonna back away. And honestly, outrageous that Barrage are allowed to get caught in such a big wombo combo 2 times in a row. And in this case, they actually do lose a member. But again, the gold lead is just too large. Bulldog don't actually have the damage, and you'll see it's a nice Magnet Storm onto multiple members of diving forward from Barrage. You can see just 3 members dragged in. The bullet time's just not shredding enough HP. And unfortunately, over the wall, no one else really has much to offer. So Barrage kind of just getting away with murder again.
They are, but that murder might be harder to achieve in 50 seconds if... well, sorry, for Bulldog. Barrage, if they get this soul, it is going to be even harder to find those picks. With the shielding, with the extra resistances, this is going to be a free mountain resistance as well, so it's actually quite a lot.
Yeah.
I expect to see some action break out over this. The area is getting controlled by Barrage, and Bulldog doing their best to slowly eke their way forward, but the vision's getting cleared out as soon as it's put down.
Honestly, Jake, I think Bulldog just need to... They just need to take the finger. They just really need to just not go for this contest. I think if they go for it, they're just going to lose the game. I understand they're 10,000 gold down, but you just accelerate the rate at which you're going to lose the game if you try and take up a fight here. So I think they are just going to give it over, which is really good, because honestly, if they take a fight here, they're just going to lose again.
Well, there it goes. No
at
contest.
the very least, yeah.
Soul over to Barrage, and if Barrage don't end in the next 5 minutes, there is obviously the potential for either the for this Elder, but there is a Baron coming up in a minute, and I feel like this has to be the contest. Because we do get ourselves a light pause.
Now, you can attempt to contest at the Baron pit. That's fine. That makes a little more sense, because you give over the Baron buff. Obviously, it comes with the byproducts of the super creeps and, you know, just playing the multiple lanes that Barrage in this kind of game state can. It will be impossible for Bulldog to deal with. But
Yeah.
you go for that Mountain Soul contest. You know you're probably going to lose the fight. It's better to try and flip the fight on a more worthwhile investment. And
Yeah. Because
fortunately,
all
that's
that
what
really
we did.
does is if you flip the fight, best case scenario, you get an ace and you get the smite and you steal the dragon.
But everyone probably died.
And you deny that. But even like that's best case scenario. Then from the death timers, you might take a tower or two. Gold lead shrinks a little bit, but ultimately Barrage will be back on the map for the Baron. They're still ahead in experience and in gold right now. So it feels like even in that best case scenario, that wouldn't have gone and that wouldn't have been enough for Bulldog to turn around. But if they best case scenario here at the Baron, they could actually end. So I expect to see a contest here. It's going to be scrappy, and I don't think it's going to be an easy one fight for Bulldog. Barrage are just way too far ahead. They're 11k up. They've got the soul. 8 towers to 0 right now. You got a 4-item Victor. Kaiser, 5 items, including boots, but got a stopwatch in the inventory. So GA on the way for KZ, and it is going to be such an uphill battle. I guess the one thing is Thomas Go hasn't built a defensive item like you were talking about. He's still opted away from anything like a stopwatch. Just got the death cap finished up. So a lot of damage from this Victor, but if you catch him, other than his flash, he has no tools to keep himself alive. As Barrage, as we head back into the game, are going to be getting control of the river area and the jungle in the surrounding parts to this Baron.
Yeah, and Bulldog, they are going to be choked out in the vision. Thank you, observers, for highlighting just how dark it actually is for Bulldog. And we saw the potential of some nice wombo at the last Baron takedown by Barrage. And if they can find lethal, it could be turned on its head. Chances are low, but the chances are there. The gold lead.
So hard to catch with that supercharge, and this could just be the end of the tower. Gravity field's used. King's just poking out the laser beams a bit.
Okay.
KO. What? I know, but just gets everybody caught out. King comes in onto the back line, and this is the wipe. They didn't even need Baron. They just needed a moo cow. 4-man pulverize from KDO. I am speechless. What an
KDO.
engage. And Thomas Go just dodging everything Shicklin throws at him while his team end the towers and end the game. The Chaos Storm will hit the UC. KZ slides in and secures the kills. There is a sacrifice onto Thomas Go. KZ will go down as he gets himself the shutdown. Barrage, though, they're going to close this one out. That is the Nexus. That is the game.
Yeah, Thomas Go and KZ feeling like giving up their perfect game KDAs, but that's fine. They secure the win here into Bulldog, and Bulldog not quite able to find a little bit of consistency like they found in the earlier weeks. Barrage honestly kind of make the game look in a way easier. And KDO, that final engage, had been floating for a while in the game, and he decided to send the enemies to the moon with the pulverize. As yeah, honestly, what an amazing just snap engage. Just felt like going forward. I think finally flexing the fact that they had like a 10,000 gold lead.
It was a very dominating game from Barrage. It was a very controlled game from Barrage as well. They weren't really taking any risks until that fountain dive at the end, but at that point it was like it
was over. Yeah.
And you know, when you're kind of like fountain diving at the end, you know the game is so far gone, but there's not really too much the enemy team can do about it. Beautiful stuff there from Barrage as they find themselves that win. We are going to throw to a quick break though, and when we're back, we'll break that game down a little bit more, as well as have an interview. And Jamada, going to start scribbling on your screens. We'll see you in a second.
Your eyes, they look me over, so close. We're falling further. Only time will tell. Who's gonna wear it? Who's gonna wear it? Who's gonna change up what we've done wrong? Now it's over. Big dreams, big hearts will roll together. So wide awake now. It seems our hearts were always beating a different rhythm all along. You don't really wanna. I feel like running from the games you seem to play. Who's gonna wear it?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the UKLC, where we're coming fresh off a Barrage win over Bulldog. Now putting them tied in the standings with them, which is really, really good for them. We'll break that down a little bit more, but before that, we actually have Aragon standing by for an interview. So, Aragon, can you hear me? How you doing?
I can hear you, yeah. Hello, I'm doing well, thanks.
How'd you feel after that win? I mean, you know, you were chasing on Bulldog's tail, and we're seeing a bit of a downward trend from them. Did you think that this was going to be a tighter game, or did you think maybe they were starting to slip a little bit?
I think they have slipped a little, but they're still decent, right? I think we just had a really good plan coming in, right? With draft, we knew exactly what they'd pick, and we countered it. So,
Yeah, that's good. And I just want to ask, because obviously I spent a split of you last year. Why were people banning GP this weekend? Have you been prepping it? Have people just been? Because it's something that I know you like GP, but you're not really willing to always play it.
no, I'd be definitely down to play it right now. I think my OPGG is a little scary with it right now.
Okay.
Maybe not actually. I've been on a bit of a chain int spree, but it was scary, I think, at the time. So people were banning it.
Yeah.
And I don't think many people at this level play it. So it's a bit like unorthodox.
One of those things.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then of course I have to ask you, that third dragon fight, getting that massive armor down. After that point, did you kind of just feel like the game was probably over after that?
Oh, okay. I
It's
thought you were
one
on
of those
about
combos.
the. I thought you were talking about the ult down bot lane. But yeah, that wombo combo on the third one was really nice. I was really happy with that one. Props to my jungler for the engage.
I mean, yeah, that was. I mean, there was so many good engages.
Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit about the kind of the pace of the game, because you guys were like 10k up for a lot of that game, but it still felt like you guys were being a little bit maybe. I don't want to say indecisive, but you were taking it chill, right? Was that like
Yeah.
a deliberate plan? What was the mindset in why you guys were like, we're so far ahead, but you still didn't want to, just hard commit to an ending? Or is it just what was going on there?
I think this ties into like our goal, right, which is to make playoffs. So I think naturally this game is really important to win. So that just makes us a bit like hesitant to pull the trigger because we're scared of messing up,
Yeah.
So I think that feeds into why we just had such a lead and we didn't push it so hard. We just kept going for the 100% play. That wouldn't mess up,
Awesome.
So, yeah.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, you did still get that win, and it was a pretty dominating win over Bulldog. So it's got to feel pretty good there. Congratulations, you win, Aragon, and hopefully we get to speak to you again soon, right? See you later.
Thank you. See you.
All right, Jamada. So what I'm going to get you to do is I'm going to get you to talk us through your play of that game. Let's bring up your drawing board, and you can start scribbling away.
Yeah, there you go. So hey, it's crayon time. What I actually wanted to bring up whilst we was in the game was Bulldog should not be contesting this dragon, right? Look at the items actually here and available for Barrage. They're online, they're ready. And then you look at the other side, there's 2 mythics and components, right? And of course, yes, you do have the Zhonyas from Zion, and he can obviously, you know, avoid a potential engage. But realistically, the gold lead is already too large, in my opinion, for Bulldog to be at a disadvantage where they have to walk into Barrage. It's too big. The composition isn't really built for necessarily walking in, and especially not into a composition where Kai'Sa, Victor, and the Kennen exist. So the setup is already in poor favor for Bulldog, and for Barrage, they're doing exactly what they need to do. They've got control wards set across the river, so they know that for Bulldog, this is just complete darkness. So we'll get the clip playing, and we'll see Bulldog are approaching cautiously, but they're not really taking into account the fact, or at least Zion isn't, that King can walk over the wall and currently has vision on him. So Zion's going to walk forward, King's going to go in, and Zion's going to lose most of his HP bar now. The response is actually not too bad from Shiflin. The Scatter of the Week is good, but we'll take a pause here and we can see the teleport's coming down from Aragon, and he's got the ultimate ready, and Bulldog are already in retreat. They had no opportunity, unfortunately, to chase into King and kill KDO with him. So now they have to take the backwards exit because the teleport's coming down. And I'm not even going to really give this analysis. Just look how huge this slicing maelstrom was now. Barrage actually almost make the issue. Oh, okay.
We missed the ending, but
We missed the ending.
oh, we're coming back.
Oh, we're coming back.
There we
Okay. Barrage actually almost make the big sin of chasing through chokes. As you can see, the mountain map actually makes so there's 2 chokes here that you kind of have to chase through. So the bullet time is actually very good. Going out like this, it just wades the chase forward, but realistically, it's not enough. The damage has already been done. You can see all of the health bars from Bulldog. They're in tatters. There's nothing really left for them, and they can just get run down by the Chaos Storm. King flashes forward. Nice killer instinct to clean up everything. And I mean, they're going through the unraveled earth, and it really just doesn't even matter at that point. But he's very fortunate to get out of his life. All in all, it's well set up from Barrage. Bulldog had no real business contesting that dragon, and they get punished for it, and heavy-handedly too.
Yeah, it was a very, very dominating fight from Barrage, and there weren't many fights, but that's how they all went. It was like, oh, that's pretty good. Oh no, don't worry, it's over. Yeah. Really, really solid stuff there from Barrage as they do close that out. Now, guys, we're gonna throw to a break, and when we're back with Resolve versus Enclave, our second game of the day. So we'll see you in a second.